when you're in the State Department or you're in some of these positions and you're going to act like this is something, well, maybe the regime can just provide a little bit of an accommodation here or an accommodation there. That's a fundamental misreading of what's going on in Cuba.
Well, that, of course, is Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, and he is right. This looting in so many Cuban cities is far different from the looting we see in American cities. It's not about anger, it's about subsistence. Cubans simply want food. They're desperate to feed their families. But in America, the looting is about opportunity, to grab Gucci bags, big screen TVs. Yet in Cuba, the uprisers there are arrested, thrown in prison. In America, they're hailed as heroes. It's backwards. But think about who is arrested in America. The preacher who refused without destroying a thing. These are the people who refuse to comply, and guess what? All of them locked up. In Cuba, just yesterday, the Cuban resistance fears hundreds of people have gone missing. Protesters, clergymen and women, even teenagers are being dragged from their homes. It all looks eerily too familiar, and those on the left scoff at my declaration that America is not far away from falling to the communists. What I am telling you is there are signs of America becoming just like Cuba. Our government persecutes conservatives, dissenters, and yes, even the rich. Team Biden is working to do what? Expand the IRS. Not put cops on the streets, but expand tax agents to go after so-called tax cheats. What he's really going after is the wealthy. While violent criminals, of course, are set free as Biden Marxists defund police departments across the country. But here's the difference between us and Cuba. Freedom-loving Americans will not sit back and take it. We are resilient, we are fighters, and we will never give up on this nation. Maybe that's the exact reason why Team Biden wants us disarmed. They're desperate for it. They want guns banned and confiscated. They want to weaken us, take away our power. In many respects, that's what the pandemic was about, weakening us, our resolve, forcing us to submit. But to their underestimation, you see Joe Biden does underestimate us. The opposite happened during the pandemic, especially after it. Americans are waking up. We are becoming stronger. Conservatives have never been more unified than they are right now. We're brave and we're bold. And Team Biden, if you're listening, I promise you this, we will not back down. Well, folks, someone who knows what the Cuban resistors are going through is a resistor himself. In the early 1960s, Rafael Cruz joined the Cuban Revolution. He suffered beatings and imprisoned for pushing back against the oppression, simply for protesting a regime that looks a lot like the one in Cuba today. Well, joining me now is Cuban-American preacher and father of Senator Ted Cruz of Texas. Rafael Cruz is with us. Sir, it's great to have you on the program.
And it's so great to be with you. It is really a blessing to be with you. I haven't seen you in quite a while. I hope we can break bread together soon.
Well, I would love that, sir. I've known you for a long time, and it's been too long, and I'm sorry it's under these circumstances. I hate to see what is happening in your country, but maybe in some respects I love to see it too, because it means things are changing there. The people are saying enough is enough. What do you make of what's happening in Cuba?
Well, I'll tell you, people get into the streets. I mean, we need to this opposition increase. You know what it reminded me of when I was seeing those pictures? It reminded me of Romania. In 1986, Romanian people under the dictatorship of that communist regime in Romania, they got streets in the millions, and between the December 16 and December 25th, in 10 days, the Ceausescu regime was thrown out, and they have had freedom ever since. I was able to go to Romania 3 years ago and see how they are flourishing now under democratic government, you know. And I think if the Cuban people continue to protest, that it could topple this government, but it has to continue, and it has to become more and more and more, and try to disrupt their communication system so they can communicate their message and they can, it's all about freedom. And you know, you were talking earlier about their waving American flags. Well, of course, the American flag is a symbol of the land of the free and the home of the brave. And that American spirit, that American, you know, the American dream, they will love to have the ability to have a hold of that American dream. And I'll tell you, I am praying and hoping that more and more Cubans will take to the streets, and we will see the toppling of this regime that has now been there more than 6 decades.
Grant Stinchfield is on Newsmax every night, fighting for the America First agenda.